Long ago, before humans built their first cities, before kings ruled kingdoms, and before history was written, the gods ruled the world. In the north, Odin watched over the realms of the Norse gods. Across the endless oceans, Poseidon commanded the seas. On Mount Olympus, Athena protected the gods and mortals with her wisdom. And deep beneath the earth, Hades ruled the kingdom of the dead. They were powerful, they were immortal, and they believed nothing could ever threaten them. They were wrong, because beneath the oldest mountain in the world, something was waking up. Something even the gods had forgotten, something that existed before them. Its name was Erebus, the first shadow, and when it finally opened its eyes, the sun disappeared. Across the world, darkness spread. The oceans stopped moving. The dead began leaving their graves. The stars vanished from the sky. And every god heard the same voice whisper through their kingdom, "Your age is over." Odin was the first to understand. He stood inside his great hall, staring into the flames of his sacred fire. He saw a vision: mountains burning, oceans rising, cities disappearing, and four gods standing alone against an army of creatures made from darkness. Odin closed his eye. Ragnarok is not coming. This is something worse. Far away, Poseidon stood at the bottom of the ocean. His mighty trident began shaking in his hand. The seas that had obeyed him for thousands of years suddenly became violent. Great waves rose higher than mountains. Poseidon looked toward the darkness above. "Who dares challenge the god of the sea?" A voice answered from beneath the ocean. "Not even the sea belongs to you anymore." Poseidon tightened his grip on his trident. For the first time in thousands of years, he felt fear. On Mount Olympus, Athena was studying ancient scrolls when every candle in the temple suddenly went out. She opened an ancient book that even the gods had forgotten. Inside was a prophecy. 4 gods, 4 realms, 1 enemy. Athena read the final line: "When the first shadow rises, no god shall defeat it alone." She immediately understood. They needed Odin, they needed Poseidon, and they needed Hades. Deep beneath the earth, Hades already knew. The gates of the Underworld had opened. Millions of souls were escaping. Hades stood before Cerberus, his 3-headed guardian. "Something is pulling the dead from my kingdom." Cerberus, Then the ground cracked. A massive black hand emerged from the darkness. Hades raised his sword. "You will not take my kingdom." The hand disappeared, but a voice, "Your kingdom was never yours." Hades looked toward the gates. For the first time, the god of the underworld realized that even death itself was being threatened. The 4 gods finally met, not on Mount Olympus, not in Asgard, not beneath the ocean, not in the underworld. They met at the edge of the world, where darkness had swallowed the horizon. Odin arrived first. His ravens circled above him. Poseidon emerged from a massive wave. Athena descended from the sky carrying her shield. Hades stepped from the shadows with Cerberus beside him. They stared at one another. Poseidon raised his trident. "I don't trust you." Hades, "Good." Athena stepped between them. "If we fight each other, we lose." Odin looked toward the darkness. "We have one enemy." Then the ground shook. A massive creature emerged from the shadows. It was larger than mountains. Its body was made of darkness. Its eyes were black suns. Behind it came an army of monsters, giants, serpents, demons, fallen spirits, creatures that had been imprisoned since the beginning of time. The first shadow spoke. "You gods have ruled long enough." Athena raised her shield. "We will not surrender." The creature, "Then die together." The army attacked. Poseidon struck first. He raised his trident. The ocean exploded into the sky. A wall of water, thousands of feet high, crashed into the creatures. Thousands disappeared beneath the waves. Odin summoned lightning. Thunder shook the heavens. His ravens flew across the battlefield, revealing enemies hidden within the darkness. Athena led the warriors of Olympus. Her shield reflected magical attacks back toward the monsters. Hades opened the gates of the Underworld. Thousands of ancient warriors rose from the dead.
For the first time, the armies of Asgard, Olympus, the sea, and the Underworld fought together. But the first shadow was too powerful. It raised one hand. Every attack disappeared. Poseidon was thrown into the ocean. Odin fell from the sky. Athena's shield shattered. Hades was forced to his knees. The creature walked toward them. "You cannot defeat what existed before you." Athena looked at the others. "We're fighting it the wrong way." Odin looked at her. "What do you mean?" "We're trying to destroy it." She looked at the darkness. "But darkness cannot be destroyed with more darkness." Hades understood. "Then what can defeat it?" Athena looked toward the human world. "Hope." The other gods stared at her. Athena explained the ancient prophecy. The gods had misunderstood it. The four gods were never meant to defeat the first shadow themselves. Their purpose was to protect humanity long enough for humans to choose whether the world would survive. The gods turned toward Earth. Millions of humans were praying. Some prayed to Odin, some prayed to Athena, some prayed to Poseidon, some prayed to Hades. But most weren't praying for victory. They were praying for their families, their children, their friends, their homes, their future. And something extraordinary happened. Every human prayer became a small light. Millions of lights rose into the sky. The darkness began to weaken. The first shadow screamed, "No!" The gods understood. Humanity had something the gods had forgotten: hope. Odin raised his hand. "Together." Poseidon lifted his trident. Athena raised her shield. Hades raised his sword. Four divine powers united: lightning, ocean, wisdom, death. They became one enormous beam of golden energy. The first shadow tried to resist, but the lights of humanity continued rising. The darkness cracked, then shattered. The ancient creature screamed one final time and disappeared. The sun returned. The oceans became calm. The dead returned to the underworld. The stars appeared again. The gods stood silently. They had won, but something had changed. Odin looked toward humanity. Poseidon lowered his trident. Athena smiled. Even Hades looked peaceful. For thousands of years, the gods had believed humans needed them. But now they understood the truth. Sometimes, the gods need humanity too. Before they returned to their realms, Athena spoke. "Will we ever meet again?" Odin smiled. "When the world needs us." Poseidon laughed. "Hopefully not too soon." Hades turned toward the underworld. "You know we'll meet again." The four gods disappeared, but the humans who witnessed the battle never forgot what happened. They built temples, they told stories, they created legends. And over thousands of years, the truth slowly became mythology. People forgot that Odin, Poseidon, Athena, and Hades had once stood together. They forgot about the first shadow. They forgot the war. But the gods remembered. And somewhere beyond the world of mortals, Odin still watches from the north. Poseidon still commands the oceans. Athena still protects those who seek wisdom. And Hades still guards the kingdom of the dead, waiting. Because the ancient prophecy had one final warning. The first shadow was not destroyed. It was only imprisoned. And one day, when humanity forgets the gods completely, it will wake again. If you enjoyed this epic mythology story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more stories about gods, mythical creatures, ancient monsters, dragons, genies, and forgotten legends.